Good morning, Morning Musings by Melinda. We're having a great time in Hollywood. You know, my pet peeve that I've been talking to you about forever is doing the right thing, even when it's not the easy thing. And I thought you might be interested in a little story that I know I did the right thing, but it still jabs me from time to time because it has to do with being here in Hollywood. And it was, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago. I had a very big movie star scheduled, a big movie star. Now, you know, I talk to television and movie stars anyway, but this was like several Academy Award winning, big deal kind of thing to have this movie star come to this boutique hotel where I stay and come to me for a reading. But I didn't know it because she really didn't use her real name, and I didn't know it. And I'd heard through the grapevine something about it, but I just didn't know it. Well, wouldn't you know, I had a part-time secretary at that time. Actually, it was my sister. And she had retired and she wanted to do something part-time, and my daughter had moved on to school. So we were trying to work that out, but it wasn't working for me because I was working full-time and she was working part-time. And so I was working the other part of my full-time to do the rest of her part-time. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so long story short, I was giving a reading to someone, and I'm not sure exactly why I was in the lobby. Usually I get a room that has like a living room, so people come upstairs, so no one's out in the open, it's discreet, and I don't know if there was some mistake made or whatever. It just was a cluster, you know what, that time, right? And I was giving this young woman a reading who'd had a great loss, and someone interrupted me and said that this movie star was waiting for me. And I had to make a split-second decision on what I would do. Would I tell this person who was in a deep state of grieving, oh my gosh, somebody more important than you is sitting here waiting for me, so I'm going to have to leave you. So what I did was I excused myself. I went over to the movie star, who actually looks just the same in life as she does on the movies. And I said to her, forgive me. There was a very big mistake made. I had a mistake in my schedule. I did not know you were coming today, and I am with somebody right now. And I made a choice to stay with the person that I was working with who was in a deep state of grief. Well, at that moment, it appeared like she was going to be gracious, and so she said she would reschedule for a couple of days later. I was going on to San Diego and then coming back to LA. And what happened was that she didn't. And what happened was that I let my sister go because it was a big mistake, and I realized that I had to have a full-time secretary. And it caused a problem with my sister and I, which was hurtful to me. And it was one of these things where I've looked back on it and said, have I done the right thing in that situation? Should I have told the person I was sitting with, I'm sorry, you have to come back later, which I could have done, and she probably would have if I told her what was going on. Should I have kept the situation going and been an enabler and stayed in a situation where I was working my head off at the time and, not let my sister go? Perhaps. But you know what? When I really evaluate it at a karmic level, and that's what I want you to do, is I want you to evaluate things at a karmic level. Like, what is really the right thing to do in integrity? The right thing to do in integrity was for me to stay with the person I was already with. She was there first. I'd been with her for about 15 minutes. The movie star apparently was late. Maybe the movie star didn't do the right thing in being gracious and coming back and knowing that people make mistakes. Maybe in retrospect, I could have done something else along the lines with my sister, because it did cause a rift between us, and that still hurts me to this day. But maybe not. Maybe my sister needed to see that she needed to retire and move on and spend time with her family, which is what I hear she does and enjoys. It could have moved into a forgiving place there too. So I'm not sure that I didn't do the right thing. I think I did. At a moral level, with my moral compass, I think I did. But those are the hard decisions that all of us face in life at times, where we have to decide what's right morally, what's right with integrity, what's right with our heart, not with our ego, not with our head. What's right. The other pet peeve that I want to talk to you about today, aren't I on my soapbox today, is yesterday I had yet another person come to see me who had another psychic medium tell her something that was going to happen in the future to her daughter, that she would lose her daughter. How outrageous is that? First of all, none of us, no one, not even God, can predict the future because he gave us free will. When you're working with a psychic medium, there are potentials. It's like the yellow brick road. It's like, when Dorothy passes the scarecrow and he says, well, you could go this way or you could go that way. Sure, we can look at that, but no one can really predict the future, especially that kind of thing. And that's why it says in the Bible that you're not supposed to talk to mediums and psychics and that kind of thing, because you can't replace them with God. They are there to guide you. I consider myself more of a spiritual counselor than anything else, teaching people about karma and, how to understand energy. But never in a million years would I predict something like that. And I've been doing this for a long, long time. Remember, I'm going to be 65 coming up in August, and I've been doing this for most of my adult life. And never, ever has Spirit said something that was a negative thing that couldn't be prevented. And what I mean by that is, sure, I've looked at somebody's picture. They were in Chicago. I was talking to their daughter in New York. I said, hey, tell your mother that I want her to go get a mammogram, which she did. And she had breast cancer that was yet undetected, but it was stage 0. And the doctor said, how did you know this? Sure, Spirit will do something like that, but they'll never do anything that makes you worry and be in fear and in constant anxiety. It's just utter nonsense. So I asked that client yesterday, hey, did the medium or psychic or whatever she was give you, I don't know, maybe it was a he, I didn't ask, specifics like the name of your mother and father and the things that I've been able to give you today? She said, no. And I said, okay, then calm down. Nothing's going to happen to your daughter. So, this kind of stuff is this new age of spirituality and kind of the stuff that I see happening right now is very concerning to me at that level. So I guess there's doing the right thing even when it's not the easy thing in both of these stories. And I'm sorry I rambled on today. I hope that you're having a great week. Bill and I are finishing our day here in LA and heading down to San Diego. Have a great day.